everyone, my name is Mitz, and here we are back at Higurashi When They Cry. So unexpectedly, we actually finished the prologue for this 8th installment. We basically get a whole small little rundown of Mio Takano's whole motive, at least a bit of background showcasing why she is in Hinamizawa to do the research she does, especially with Hifumi Takano, her grandfather who adopted her, along with some small events leading up to it, and also a little declaring war argument that she had with Hanyo, honestly. Just a god revealing their presence to someone just because you're a real thorn in their side, you know that, right? A mere mortal has stopped a god over several fucking universes and timelines, like for centuries apparently. I'll give Mio that much. Good times. Good times. She bested someone who Hanya doesn't really have this godlike powers, but just even though she can technically just walk around and just observe people and not be seen or noticed unless people are absolutely gone crazy. Even then, still, Mio managed to evade under detection. Probably just because Hanya doesn't really like her too much, and she never bothered to go that. But even without that, she still managed to evade being detected or being suspicious for over so long, over so many centuries, I'm assuming. And that's gotta be commendable for something. Although, I'm just getting reminded now from just for clarification, is the whole thing with they did mention in the last installment that the Rika and mentioned they can only go back to these 2 weeks, the week before the Watanagashi festival and the week where I'm leading to her death. Does that actually equate to Hanyo's power too, or just literally just Rika's memory? I think it's just for hers because literally the entire argument that and declaration of war between Mio and Hanyo technically happened right when the clinic was technically still being built or near almost opening and finishing. Which if it's something more than Rika's memories, then oh my gosh, Hanyo, how'd you come all the way back here? Honestly, my good gosh, even more different powers. It'd actually be kind of interesting if Hanya technically just had literally just narrowed all the powers down to these 2 weeks, just so actually I don't even know why she would actually do that, huh? It's probably just Rika's memory then, because the second I think about Hanya's power and just weirdly enough try to showcase to Rika that things in the loop are going too bad, I feel like that's demoralized Rika actually even more, and Hanya doesn't really want that, so huh. Oh well then. Well, at least now we're gonna be focusing in on how Rika is actually gonna explain to everyone that Mio is the real goddamn villain here, and hopefully everyone goddamn remembers everything, and you know what to do, honestly, Rika. You weren't there, but I told you in spirit several times, if they don't remember, textbook. Slap across the face with a textbook. Make them remember. Go down. Torture them until they remember and realize. Get to their goddamn skulls. Welcome. Welcome to the world of Higurashi to aid Matsurubayashi. Okay, I thought we're in Rika's head, or Rika's being a bit weird about being fourth wall breaking. Please don't do that. In this world, you'll be able to recreate the story from Hanya's point of view. Oh. Your objective is to create the June 1983 ideal to you. What, this is interactive? Like actual choices, or you need to collect many different fragments to make that possible. However, Takano's conviction is very strong. To return it, you'll need a lot of effort and a lot of fragments. The fragments besides the last 7 installments? I'll warn you right now, it'll be a slow and painful process. Many headaches and migraines will ensue. Don't even know what the difference is between the two of them, actually. They're just synonyms. Hanya went through it for over 100 years, and she had to stop and give in to fate. Oh, it was just... Wait, it's just over just 100 years, not more than that. Man, if it was it's ever over several centuries, honestly, worth of that, then man, that would be even cooler than me, man. Just fucking evade capture from Rika and Hanya for all that time. Defeating Takano's conviction will not be easy. The trial in this world will put you through as much pain as Hanya had to endure. Oh yay. You may surrender, just like Hanyo did. Okay, well that's it. Let's pack up the bags now. No. After being emotionally worn down by the constant repetition of the worlds opened by countless fragments. When you feel like surrendering, you can end this game anytime. Oh. But if you do, the worlds revolving around your friend's fate will be limited to Onikakushi through Minagoroshi. By forgetting about this world and uninstalling this product, you will finally accept death. Just like Rika did. Your ideal June 1983 can be created by putting together 50 fragments that are scattered all over this world. Wait, is this actually turned into a puzzle game? To connect those fragments together, you will need the right ones. There are 50 of them, which may be dizzying. What? However, this world isn't that merciless. To ease your pain, there'll be a little help for you. When you choose the wrong pieces, your only ally here will give you something that's not yet time to put those fragments together. How am I supposed to know how some fragments connect together or not, though? As long as the sun remains, you won't be able to connect them. As long as the sign remains. What sign? You might as well go look for different ones. If you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together earlier. When that happens, she'll let you know. Let's put those fragments together. Then you'll be able to join the other ones, too. When you connect all 50, they'll become one big fragment. Was it turning into a matching game? I don't understand what you mean by, how are you supposed to tell which ones, how can you tell which ones connect or not? Or, like, you're supposed to figure out from, just the screenshots or just, like, what the fragments look alone and try to figure out what installment it comes from and somehow connect pieces together like that? The only thing that can come to my head to, like, make any kind of sense is, like, the logic mechanic for the Ace Attorney Investigations games. Like, that's the only thing I could think at the top of my head. There you'll find your ideal June 1983. That's when the long-awaited Matsuribayashi will begin. Before you peek at each fragment, why don't you line up all 50 of them first? Most of them require the fragments, so there are only a few you can actually look at. What? I'm even more confused. I can only look at a few? What? Let's try to find those first. To see conditions for connecting fragments, just point the cursor at them. Okay. Before anything else, let's find the ones you can look at without any conditions. This will be an extremely long and difficult trial. Let me tell you again, Hanyo challenged us for over 100 years and gave up on it. If you believe in miracles in the same way your friends do, even if you don't live in the world where they live, if you believe in them. Welcome. Okay. Welcome. No, don't you fucking do this right now. Don't loop already. We didn't even get a chance to even do anything. Welcome to the world of Higurashi to aid Matsuribayashi. Wow. In this world, you'll be tested to see if you believe in the world that Rika and the others believed in. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their strength. Okay. The June 1983 created by Takano is nearly indomitable. She's gathered many people whose powers are beyond the average person to her side, even more so than a normal kid, so, her backers being the center of national authority. Even with 100 die all rolled ones, there wouldn't even be a chance to defeat her. In other words, a miracle is the only way forward. A miracle happens only when everyone combines their strength. And you are one of them. Oh, yay. Are you ready? No, I don't even understand the rules even. I'm more than ready. The key to a long journey is not to press yourself too hard. Well, let's take this at a light pace. I'll work while drinking my usual wine. Okay, hi, Rika. Oh, I kind of fucking figured. You're fucking fourth wall breaking. Okay, then. We're not talking to Rika and understand there's more people outside this world, but not Hanyo? Okay. Shall we begin? We have all the time in this world. Okay. Okay, I'm just assuming that's the introductory phase for you brought the mouse cursor, so you have attained new fragments. Oh, yay. Okay. What the fuck? Okay, new music, okay. Alright. Well, oh. It's literally just like the tips, actually. Like, the red capsule. Wait, what the what even is all this? Huh. Okay, hon. Okay, so we're mostly... I still don't understand exactly how you're supposed to connect some of these together. They just said, They just put in the vague words of you can only connect certain things together, but you won't know until it is. So like just matching information together. The C-103 dose experiment. Sadako Hojo's detailed test result is required. Kyosuke Iri's decision is required. What does it mean, required? Does that mean we have to figure out, find something that doesn't have, say, anything but requirements somewhere here? The only thing... Well, all of them say required so far. So we need to find something that doesn't have that, or just like... okay, I might as well just read through every single one to see if we can pick anything else together. H-170, the discontinuation of Sadako Hojo's dissection plan is required. The discontinuation? The Kyosuke Iri's motive to become a doctor is required. The third year's curse at Ayashiro-sama is required. Okay, Han. Where's that one paper I had? Like, when I wrote so many different things about about the game itself. Oh, gosh dang it. Where did that paper go, actually? I wrote, like, that was when I was in the first 4 installments, actually. Oh, I can't even remember where that was. Oh, god damn it. I had the entire timeline laid out with the first, 3 years worth. Okay, I think it was, the third year's, wait. The third year's curse, I believe, top of my head, is literally just Rika's parents being killed. Her dad falling ill to some sickness disease. What has anything to do with the actual, you know, Hinamizawa syndrome or not, or like, you know, similar disease, and then mom just going missing, although a suicide note was left behind at some point. Don't know if it has anything else to do with that. Okay. Research is going well. An L5 stage patient's dissection is required. The Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. The death of Sadako Hojo's aunt is required. The fourth sacrifice. The death of the human sacrifice must be required for you to connect these fragments together. What? The third sacrifice. Rika's father being marked as an opportunist is required. Rika's mother's suspicion is required. I don't understand what it all means by required, though. And second sacrifice. The death of the construction site manager is required. The hospitalization of Sadako Hojo is required. The second sacrifice? This should just literally be, well, second sacrifice. I can't tell if it means, like, the person who was technically murdered, or, like, the second person who was, like, I guess, targeted for, the curse, or technically speaking, the second sacrifice of, like, who was murdered, technically speaking. Because getting rid of every single person we know who went missing, that would just mean the second person to be killed then would be one of you know, Sadako's parents then. And if it's not that, then the only second sacrifice that would be the, I guess, the main culprit for the, I guess, the dam construction foreman's murder. The person who actually got the whole group together. First sacrifice. A live specimen for research is required. A tragedy at the dam construction site is required. Okay. Dam construction operation withdrawal. This fragment is required first. Required first? What? I'm assuming that's the very first thing we need to go with. Repetitive apology required. A murder with a dismembered body. An accident at Shirokawa Park. Satoshi Hojo's sister must refuse his visit to the clinic. Satoshi Hojo's sense of responsibility as a big brother is required. I mean, this is all, like, centered, like... It all makes it look like these are all, like... It's in the same style as, like, the tips, honestly, for, like, the... You know, after a chapter is done, they give some more, so... I can't tell if, like, I just click on one of these and it actually shows a small thing, or, like, it's only just a matching game right now. I haven't been clicking on anything so far yet. At acquiring Yaguchi, the Queen Carrier must be willing to participate. That's not required, and that's... It says, like, we need to add this. Dam construction operation withdrawal. So... Does that mean this needs to be actually matched up in the fragment first, from the sound of it? Distrust of the mother of a queen. Results of the research on C-103 and H-107 are required. The truth about the Shirokawa Park accident is required. The truth of the park accident. Okay, that's I think that, like, so I don't even think we actually... I'm assuming that's the park that Sadako's parents, I guess, fell over a railing and, I guess, went missing. And, like, you know, I think one of them died, one was missing. I can't remember who it was, whether it was the dad who died or was the mom. The only one in the other body was not found. But, so the park actually is called Shirakawa then? Alright then. We already looked at that. Requesting assistance from a queen. The research needs to have hit its first snag. Instructions for the kidnapping operation and the minister's grandson are required. Yeah, I can definitely see why this is a lot dizzying. Okay, it's like 8 tips out of 7. Death of Satoshi's aunt. A bat to beat her to death is required. Okay, I'll look for a fragment with a bat and I'll connect it to this. Don't worry about it. Mysterious death of the Ferde couple. An execution order for the 3rd year's curse is required. A declaration of war from Kurada Oishi is required. An accident at Shirakawa Park. Satoshi's. Yeah, we already read through this. Okay, so far the ones that have the least thing we can work on is at acquiring Yaguchi, Dan construction operation withdrawal, and death of Satoshi's aunt. Just trying to label all this down to make sure everything is a bit more simpler, honestly. Erie's background. Kyosuke Erie's reminiscence is required. Reminiscence? Kyosuke Erie. This fragment is required first. Okay, this is another one. Do we need to attach this to the other required first thing? Maybe? I'll look through everything else, then connect those two, actually. A routine inspection. Prior consent for the collection of cerebrospinal fluid is required. Okay, so before, I guess, way before the Hinamizawa, I guess, syndrome is being, well, it's in the early stages it gets a research then, I guess. Disappointment. The death of Koizumi Sensei is required. The death of the damn construction site manager is required. The old guy. Like, some of these seem like actual outcomes. Like, to actually, what do you, wait, the death of Koizumi, I don't, like, I can't tell, like, these are all different plans that you can get together to try to find, like, these are different, okay, so these are all different fragments of memory that, I guess, Hanyo, or at least Rika, experienced, only just trying to remembering it now, and now just piecing all this kind of small information together to, figure out a correct plan, actually, all at once. But I don't know how the death of Koizumi actually would help work, because, she would still be, I guess, determined about the fate, honestly. And I think from the sound of it, she'll probably just feel even more, willful to actually make sure get a revenge on this all. Because another bad thing happened to Mio then. I think, for, how she raised herself ever since, that meeting with, the sponsors, honestly, she would just, be even more, convinced to go along with it. So I don't know if, can some fragments just not be connected, actually? We don't need to connect them all? I think they actually mentioned that they all have to be connected, so... Jiro Tomataki, this fragment is required first. Okay, that's another requirement one. So, Kyosuke Iri, this is required first. Rika Furdy's high fever is required. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jiro Tomataki's slight fever is required. Her high fever? When Rika has a high fever? Nothing mentioned of her getting sick, I don't think. Unless, the times when she was being researched on during the, I guess, when she was taking Sadako there, and honestly, she also put herself under research, honestly, was the same thing. And if they messed with her a bit, with the whole injections, they even faked them giving Tomataki a vaccine, then, Deja vu. Completion of the medicine C117 is required. Okay, that's medicine. A roll of a 1. A bottle of wine for toast is required. Jiro Tomataki's promise is required. The draft and emergency manual is required. Okay. So, that's only just talking again of, how Rika, just equates them to the roll of die thing, but, I can kind of understand that maybe the bottle of wine toast for, the symbology for it. But a promise and a draft manual, how does that combine together to make that? I don't understand that. A local explanatory meeting. This fragment is required first. Another short requirement thing. Okay. Depression of a Shinto priest. Rika and Sadako's shopping trip is required. Shopping trip? The Shinto priest contacting the Erie institution is required. Okay. Suffering of a Big Brother. Raw candy is a treatise required. What are some of these requirements? Sadako Hojo's detailed test result is required. Okay. Footsteps in the 4th year. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins is required. The forgiveness of Reign of Ryugu's sins is required. Is this Lily actually just trying to, like, I can't tell, like, if this is, like, the sound of it, we're, like, when they talked to us in the, I guess, beginning of this chapter, the talking, the connecting fragments thing was Rika, so, like, are we actually just connecting fragments to him make a plan expands, I guess, in Rika's entire life? From all this different things, since we're seeing, like, Satoshi's whole thing. I can't tell this information that we gleaned from last fragments and like, then we get jump-started, like, the week before the festival to go for the entire giant plan? Or literally, like, these fragments are meant to showcase what Rika has to do immediately when she comes to consciousness at a young age. Just immediately when she like, opens her eyes in the hospital room after being born, she's like, I have a plan now. All the way until 12, like 10 or 12 years. A notice of leave of absence. Satoshi Hojo's part-time job is required. Footsteps following Hojo Satoshi are required. Footsteps are following Hojo, okay. Like, that's, like, just saying one small thing, like, there. I know, like, this is all localized, but I'm just sometimes a bit weirded out why I'm, sometimes they flip-flop the first and last names a bit. I know that's technically how it is in, like, in more Japanese media, like, they go for the surname first, then the first name. But, like, when it's, like, completely localized like this, it feels a bit weird when it's like that. Unless it's, like, a direct one-to-one translation, but, eh. Satoshi Hojo, this fragment is required first. Okay, so, are a single one of these, like, the character, just that's focusing on a single character, always the ones required? Hold on, 1 second. Totaki required. Yeah, so far, every single one that focuses in on just a character itself, it just says required. Okay. The Hojo siblings. A conflict between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family is required. The self-introduction of Sadako Hojo is required. Wait, the self-introduction of Sadako Hojo. Self-introduction? Oh, okay, then. So, the conflict between Hojo family and Sonozaki family is required. Okay. Alright, a preview of lots for sale. The Ryugu family's move is required. The 4th year's curse is required. I don't think they probably did. I don't think there was a good explanation from how connecting fragments or the whole thing is here. I'm assuming, like, at this point, I'm just mostly just getting confused now, like, what the fragments represent now. I'm just gonna assume these are different ways of how like past fragments over the, I guess, over 100 years have functioned then. I guess. The Ryugu family's move is required. The 4th year's curse is required. I'm pretty sure that is, yeah, that's the ants murder and Satoshi going missing. New wind. The Ryugu family's move is required. A watermelon from the Sonozaki family is required. A watermelon? Okay, a lot of food has to be required then too. Rock candy, watermelon. Okay then. What next? The ginger ramen that Keiichi, like, bought one time. The first installment has to be required then too. Formation of a club. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins is required. His awareness of his sins, okay. The mysterious death of the fruity couple is required. Okay. Keiichi Maebara. Okay, this is different. The tea set in the veranda being put away is required. Ichiro Maebara inspecting a vacant lot is required. What the fuck? Rika Furude, a conflict between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family is required. Okay, I don't even understand what the character-specific ones are meant to be anymore now because of these, like, different things. Only the last 3 technically counted. So, like, wait, hold on a second. So the ones involving, I guess, these, like, okay, so Eri, Tomataki, like, not even just a name, but still we'll go with it, and Satoshi, like, those, the only thing I can think is, like, those are already people involving the past that we don't have to handle a lot of different connections with the fragments altogether for this. And just find a way to connect them, like, and make them, like, I'm assuming, like, combine all these fragments together, it's pretty much just it's then characters just having a different outlook, and just remembering, like, different memories, or, like, like, the same way how it was in Less of Some, or just some characters like have a sudden recollection of maybe not the fact that they killed someone or like there was like they did something bad in a different timeline, but just the fact that they got aware of like they know what mistakes to handle and just internalize that and just get better and move on from there without anything else bad happening. I guess, I assume. Okay, Sadako Hojo. Okay, she's required first apparently. Okay. Strawberry milk candy. Okay. Reina Ryugu, red capsules required. Oh, to that. Okay, so it's literally just that kind of thing. Red capsule. Where was okay, so third year's curse. Is there anything that says anything like that? Third year's curse. Or just anything connecting with a third year? Anything like that connects to that? Yeah, I don't think I see anything like that. Okay, there's only 2 more pages left. Okay. June 1983, the revenge of Mio Takano is required. The revenge. Keiichi Maebara changing schools is required. Changing school. Like to Hinamizawa or to no, like because every time Rika already mentioned that when Keiichi doesn't come to Hinamizawa for one reason or another, those always feel like the worst timelines. So let's go with that. Invitation to an end. A raw sea urchin and vitamin A are required. A big teddy bear is required. She needs moral support. I can understand the second line being the Sadako, but sea urchin and vitamin A. What? Okay. A fragment of Himatsubushi? The game board must be set up. Himatsubushi, Han. What chapter installment is that? I want to click out of the game for a second. Which one was that? That's the 4th one. That's basically just the all the way back in time bit of around the Dan conflict and the talk with the kidnapping case of Akasaka Noshi. So a fragment of Onikakushi. The game board must be set up. Fragment of Sumi Horoboshi. A fragment from the Onikakushi chapter is required. That's Tsusumi Horoboshi, that's the 6th chapter, so it's really just when Rika kill, no, not Rika, it was Reina kills Rina. Fragment of Watanagashi, the game board must be set up. Okay, so Onikakushi and Watanagashi, from the sound of it, those fragments, can we probably connect things up? A fragment of Miyakashi, that's obviously Shien's chapter. A fragment from the Watanagashi chapter is required. Okay. A fragment of Tatari Goroshi. The game board must be set up. Okay, Tatari Goroshi. That's in the 3rd chapter, I'm assuming, right? Just in case. Yep. Okay, got that down. Fragment of Minagoroshi. Fragment from the Tatari Goroshi chapter is required. Fragment of Matsuri Bayashi. 7 fragments are required. I'm assuming Lilia, maybe that's this is the very maybe last one. Okay, Han, let me see actually. So there's nothing that says anything about strawberry milk candy requirements, stuff like that. So I just have to literally just do trial and error because I don't think I got a lot of direction, honestly. But it's required first, which is oh, I just clicked that one. Oh, I just clicked them all. Oh, I just clicked his first. Oh, well, I just clicked it. I can't connect any of them? Okay, I was going full-on deduction mode, but just click on one. Does it mean after we finish, a single fragment when we click on it, then we can, connect and piece things together? Don't tell me if we click on one, we have to go through the entire story and then click the next one and it connects, honestly. Please don't tell me. Oh my god. Okay, so this is Kyosuke Erie's, I guess, fragment then. Group physical exams are very meaningful for our research. Oh, I think it's his brain then. Although it's only for certain age groups, we can examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. It's proper cover for our research center. Also, because we're civil arrangements, we have a monopoly in the villagers' corpses, and can perform autopsies on them too. Wow, that just came out of nowhere. There certainly was an environment this rich in opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up work in the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. The amount of data he compiled is absolutely astounding. He truly was an incredible researcher. Excuse me, Director. Yeah, I kind of figured. Okay, we're in his head. Oh, Takano-san. Thanks for your hard work. We just received the rest of the test results from Tokyo. Here they are. Thank you. It's getting interesting, isn't it? I'm glad we can share this joy. Takano-san is my assistant, who was sent from the Self-Defense Force, the SDF. But she's far from the image I have of an SDF officer. Just like her research is being concealed, maybe her identity is concealed too. I'm sure her name is an alias as well. I'm just a doctor and a researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. She's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher with an expert in Hinamizawa syndrome. Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Erie Institute. I mean, she should have been the director. You weren't given the lowdown about all this? Well, it makes sense, I guess. Like, only Takano, like, technically knows him, about all this. I'm assuming, like, all these fragments from, like, these kind of perspectives, I'm assuming are from Hanyo just, like, snooping around then. I guess now just several more goddamn timelines have now passed. Rika has not been able to recover anything now. The Hanyo, you managed to get everyone's fucking mind reading powers now. And you're connecting all this together. Good job. You harness your energy and your powers right now. You can you can pause time for a second. You can read people's minds and inhabit their psyche. Good for you. Good for you. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. I searched for a person who met the requirements, and there it was. I became the director. End scene. Cut. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on the strings. You're not wrong. But I won't just sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I am a researcher, so of course I'm excited about that. My client's goals might be different, but I'm here out of the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome and be the first person to cover a new mystery for mankind. Well, technically, you're technically the third person. You weren't the one who uncovered it or like figured it out, but a follow-up is second best. We have all this data that suggests the existence of a parasite that causes the syndrome, yet we still can't find factual evidence of the culprit microbe itself. That's true. Thought we'd find it easily if we used an electron microscope. Viruses are too small to see with a regular microscope, so the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. Okay then. The late Dr. Kakano said an electron microscope could find the cause of the disease, but it seems this theory has been proven wrong. Even Takano-san was hoping an electron microscope would find it. She was disappointed when she didn't cover anything after all the autopsy she performed. Would even, like, the microbe and the virus still be, I guess, visible when they're still dead? Like, I'm wondering, like... It's probably just a stupid comment, honestly, that it'll still be in the course, but I'm wondering, like, will it be harder to spot because it's, like, less active or anything like that? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I'm not a medical person. I don't know about viruses and what happens to them when they died. When the people inside them die, or the virus themselves are just vanquished. Imagine cartoonish effects of him taking like a capsule or just like some sort of pill, and all of a sudden cartoonish superhero sound effects. Pill destroys virus. Virus vanquished into the grave. Yeah, just imagine that. Our research seems to be having its first snag, and it's actually stalled our work for several weeks now. So you need to think about where to go from here, which means they're either smaller than microscopic, or maybe there's something wrong with the specimen itself, so it's not in the autopsy corpse itself then? What do you mean? For example, as you know, wild mice have tons of fleas on them, but you can't find fleas in dead mice. That's my first thought, actually, so, was I actually right? Am my ignorance in medicine actually what's right here? I doubt it. And that's because when the mouse dies, their habitat dies as well. Yeah. So the host dies, the parasite's world would end too. That's right. Just like you won't find a living human in a post-apocalyptic world. Look, there's some people who are like living cockroaches, don't worry about that. So, therefore, we have to look into the earth before it ends, right? That's true. However, when you think about human rights, it's hard to look into a brain while the patient is still alive. Examining a living human's brain... I was getting a bad feeling on one of those required descriptions of the other fragments. And I think I mentioned before, just oh boy, so Sadako was being somewhat like, from the implications of it, honestly, like, I'm pretty sure Rika would have mentioned something weird maybe going on, but I don't think they would have really looked into Sadako's brain. Maybe they did some scans and just some those like psychological Rorschach tests just to see just how behaviorally wise she functions, but examining a living person's brain, no matter how you sugarcoat it, that bore very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary, but we have rules and morals in this world. In this world, you emphasize. And we had to advance medicine within such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomy as the betterment of mankind. I don't think I was wrong. However, could I ever be forgiven under our ideas of ethics? Wait, for the sound of it, did you actually like manage like look into lobotomies, or just studying it? I'm just assuming you just read so many articles about it and not tried it yourself. Just don't go down that way, please. You know, like Takano even said, like, you have an interest in psychosurgery. Please don't tell me you actually done all that before. I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil, whether I'm guilty or not. I have to accept it. As I reflected about my past, I heard a voice. Voice? It was Takano-san's. It was very clear and simple, yet it struck me with surprise. Understood. Let me prepare a world on the verge of death. What? I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil, telling us to accept sacrifices. I heard the devil whisper. It's not that difficult. I just have to find a Hinamizawa resident who is about to die. That's all. But even if they're about to die, who would be brave enough to provide their body for research while still alive? Oh, those people who like are completely fine with it. Like, there's the whole thing of well, that's well after death, honestly. The whole thing of I think it's like sometimes like, well, there's the whole thing about organ donors, like on their driver's license and stuff like that. Also, I give my body to science when I'm dead. Well, the people who are living then. I don't think I ever heard about the ethics of that. Of like someone legitimately just saying like to almost every single scientific researcher, just saying oh yeah, I don't care what you do to my brain, actually, or my body. Like I will literally help with the advancement of in human life. I don't care how much pain I get in. Like just do what you need to do, like to research me. Just research anything, honestly. What would be the ethics of that then? Like I guess the board of ethics actually would probably just like say no anyway. The sound of it, even if the person absolutely understands everything that's gonna go happen, the torture they might go through, and just like say I don't care about that. I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know the exact pain that's gonna happen, and I don't care. Just do it. That's, yeah, huh. Don't worry about that. They're dying anyway. We're just gonna put them to sleep a little sooner. On paper, of course. The patient will be legally declared dead, even though they're still alive. And we perform an autopsy while they're still alive. That's impossible. Technically, it's not impossible. It just requires breaking into someone's house and putting the anesthetic. Just in the sound of it. So if we perform neurological surgery, we have to do a circular incision in the cranial area. They're feeling notice the marks for sure. Unless you put a little wig on them or a hat. And that's where we come in. Other mountain dogs look for patients in the local hospital that matches our needs immediately. All you have to do is wait with a knife and a fork in your hands. The fuck you mean a fork? I'll bring your meal right away. Okay, time to get mad cow disease. Yay. Miyu Takano-san is my partner, there's no question about that. But I just can't trust her. It's her extremity as a researcher, which contrasts largely with mine. But are we so different? Not really. If you were fine with my researching and maybe fantasizing about giving people lobotomies, probably not. I'm here simply waiting with a fork and a knife in my hand, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different knowing what I've done in the past? I perform lobotomies without patient's consent. I fucking knew it! Despite it being surgery that might affect her life forever. How's it different from what she's doing? I never doubt my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san is talking to Okonogi-san in the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect on my past to remember why I chose to become a doctor. Okay, so that's that fragment done then. Does it change that one fragment actually then? In some way, the description or anything? Yeah, it changed it. Ah, that definitely changed it first. Okay. Oh, reminiscence required then? Oh, wait, no. Do we need to get another thing? Hold on. If we click that, does that change actually? I've wanted to become a doctor ever since I was little. Doctors make a lot of money. People look up to doctors. I think those are the kind of reasons I had. So I play with my friends. I always had to like the doctor. As a kid, okay, I just now just imagining just a bunch of like parents are like just having watching their kids just playing. All of a sudden, you see a bunch of them playing house and doctor, and they take both of them like almost to their actual logical extremes. Just I'm gonna cut you open. Okay, yeah, guts flying everywhere, bleh. And I'll just go with even more and more serious subject matter, just in a childlike, innocent kind sounding voice. My God. I cleaned their wounds and applied ice packs when my friends sprained their ankles, using what I learned from household medical books. Everyone, including me, believed that I'd be a doctor one day. My family was poor, so they praised me for that goal. They told me that I needed to study a lot to become a doctor, so they borrowed some pseudo-medical books in the local library for me. Pseudo? The rental fees weren't cheap. Rental fee? Like, did you keep them way after, like, wait, did you keep them way after when they're actually due? That kind of fees? Don't tell me, like, the libraries are on there to say, if you need to rent this out, then, you need to pay $10 for this. Okay. And especially pseudo-medical? That just sounds like something you get at a normal local library. Unless you get a goddamn, like, you have to pay for just, them to mail and deliver things into the library. Like, what? It's probably just because the libraries I've been to so far just, like, do that kind of just for free, the sound of it. That or just I was too young to realize that. Okay. So it's speed read one book in a day, and the next day, my parents would go back to the store to exchange it for a different book. So they accidentally borrowed a book they already borrowed before. By doing so, my parents borrowed 2 books at the price of 1. Of course, now they know those books were rather useless, but they were highly motivational just the same. Okay. My neighbors called me Dr. Kyusuke-kun, and I always picked for class health officer at school. My teachers helped me with the classes I needed to take to become a doctor. Of course, in reality, becoming a doctor isn't as easy as it might seem. I had to study diligently. The path was most definitely rough. Study human anatomy. To become a doctor, one must attend college. You must. Since my family was poor, I was told I wasn't allowed to go to expensive private school. So I had to be admitted to a national public university. Like a community college, or just okay? My grades weren't bad, but the admission rate to national public universities is very marginal. Especially since I wanted to go to medical school. My chances were even smaller. I studied like crazy. My only driving force was my childhood dream of becoming a doctor. The dream of becoming a doctor and to be looked up to by everyone kept me going. And I was admitted. It wasn't the top of the list, but I made it in. I was finally the starting point of making my childhood dream come true. My parents were thrilled. Neither my father nor mother went to college, so they were proud of their son getting to public medical school. They invited our relatives over to celebrate. Although it was a public university, tuition wasn't cheap. They still had an extravagant celebration anyway. My father didn't express his emotions much. He always kept a straight face. He really voiced his opinion or took initiative on anything. Okay. My mother took care of everything. He should have laughed and left without saying a word. He was a typical stern and silent Japanese father of the time. Matt's so surprised to see him shedding tears of joy, and I cried along with him. He went around to all my relatives while repeatedly slapping my back, saying how proud and lucky he was to have a son like me. He bragged about my achievements to all who would hear them. The celebration became my farewell party as I was about to leave for Tokyo. My father yelled, "Banzai!" repeatedly at the station as the train pulled away. I was a little embarrassed. When I could no longer see my father, I could clearly recall the tears pouring down. The days of hellish studying and exams began after that. Some days, I was tempted to just give up and submit myself to the lavish lifestyle of the city. But the letters from my family always encouraged me and gave me the strength to go on. My dream, then, was to open up my own clinic in my own hometown so I could contribute to the region. Your hometown? I never even dreamed of getting involved with brains. And then you got so... You took a slight difference in brains to the point of literally just removing a section of it just to see how it ticks, like a mad scientist then. One day, I noticed a difference in the letter from my family. The letter said the usual things about how I was at home, asked how I was doing, but the postscript was what caught my attention. Your father has become really violent lately. Sometimes he turns the house upside down. I don't know what to do. Oh, don't tell me, either I'm, unless things have, from the sound of it in letters, nothing else has absolutely changed, and, is he getting dementia now? Or... I just couldn't picture him acting viciously. I was extremely surprised. Did he just turn alcoholic? Did something happen? But in the postscript, my mother said there was nothing she could think of. My mother and father have been together for a long time. They've been together since well before I was born. So she knows things that I couldn't. She couldn't even think of a reason why my father had become so violent. What happened? They got along so well. They're still a lovely couple. So I'm assuming it's not alcoholism if she can even notice that. So, probably is dementia then. That's the first thing. That or something else I don't really know right now. When I caused a problem for my mother when I was little, my father only bonked my head with his knuckle. Bonk! Cartoon sound effect. Why was he acting this way toward my mother now? Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding between them. I was going home for the new year anyway. Maybe I could have a good talk with him then. But the situation was a lot more serious than I thought. On one cold winter day, I found my apartment door unlocked. Okay then, someone broke into your apartment then? I thought someone had broke in, but I found my mother in my apartment with her luggage. Oh. That's right. My mother could no longer take my father's fury and came to stay with me. This was back when people still believed in the proverb, a woman has no place to settle down all her life. What kind of proverb is that? She couldn't go back to her own family because they lived in the same region as my father. She came all the way to Tokyo. I heard about my father's violence from my mother's own lips. She cried, saying she had no idea why such a quiet man changed like that. She said she wasn't ever going back to him. She didn't know what to do. I asked her if she could talk to him one more time, but the bruises on her body told me it was no use. Yeah. If anyone's gonna change, it has to change here, it's him. To remember what happened afterwards is too much, so I'll be brief. After my mother left, my father thought she was having an affair and went over to the neighbor's house with a wooden sword. He was arrested. He was released immediately, but he assumed someone in the neighborhood was hiding her, so he did the same thing repeatedly. I think he just became a public menace then. He eventually reached the point of getting to fight with anyone he saw. In the end, he picked a fight with some young punks and ended up getting beaten to death. Okay, you picked him on a small Yakuza group then, okay, apparently. Or just gangster group then, have fun with that. My relatives gave my father a decent funeral. My mother didn't attend. It's no use being a dead horse. Your dad is a horse. So nobody said anything negative about my father, but everyone's simply puzzled as to why he changed so much. What I heard from my relatives about my father's final days was a lot stranger than what I heard from my mother. My mother only told me about his sudden rage and violence. My relatives told me he also laughed and grew sad. Bipolar? Apparently, he displayed several sudden fluctuations of emotion, especially so in his last years. That's what it seems like, just sudden I don't even know how bipolar disorder actually works on my head. Like, what's born? Like, you, like, get born with it or just suddenly just develop it? Don't know how it forms out of nowhere just from some trauma? I don't quite know. He also told me that he started to complain about headaches during an accident he had. Is the reason why just that I'm emotionless, I guess, for this one, is just keeping things in check before he really couldn't anymore? But, I don't know if how much sense that makes, so, He also told me that he started to complain about headaches during an accident he had. Oh. My father was a construction worker. Okay, that explains a lot then. He hit his head hard on a construction board during an accident at work. He gained his consciousness quickly and seemed fine, but since the accident, he started to have headaches and behave abnormally. I sensed the connection between the accident and my father's changes, so I talked to my professor after I went back to Tokyo. Huh. I can't say for certain. Sounds like it's possible your father suffered some kind of brain damage. Yeah. The hard hats were in quite hard protection. There's a chance that blow to his head caused an organic mental disorder, that little blow to his noggin, if we're going to the cartoon theme. Boink! The symptoms your father showed in his final years are similar to the delirium and mental fluctuations we often see in similar patients. Human behavior is created by the brain, and if the brain is damaged, it can cause erratic behavior. In other words, my father wasn't crazy. He's suffering from a disorder. If you can perform an autopsy on him, you should check his brain carefully. Maybe find something like a tumor there. A tumor? My father had already been cremated, so there's no way of knowing. But hearing about his behavior, I knew for sure. That was the only way to explain why such a quiet and gentle man would change. I tried to explain all this to my relatives regaining my father's honor, but hardly anyone understood. If his brain was damaged, he would have been dead. But he was alive and well. Oh, are they that old? Okay, so the accident damaged his brain. It wasn't his brain that caused the change, it was his mind. What? They simply brushed off like that. Like, are they going with the whole thing of, like, mind and spirit has changed, and that's why he went violent? Just not that? I'm just gonna assume that's what they meant by that. Like, he just suddenly changed in mind and spirit and just mindset then, and just went crazy like that? I'm assuming? Because I don't know how to get in my brain of, like, someone not immediately thinking that in this day and age now. This is definitely something new to think about now. This is the preconception that most people have about the brain. They don't realize the mind and the brain are connected. Okay, this is very old then. Most of the relatives didn't believe me. I'm the doctor here. Are you gonna believe? You're not gonna believe me? Apparently, those people are just very stubborn then. Very stubborn and one-track mind then. If they're not gonna believe the literal doctor in the family, literally. This is before he went into more controversial stuff too, so I don't quite understand that whole thing either. So okay, most relatives didn't believe me, but there was one person who I really wanted to anyway. There's only one person you wanted them to believe you, and that was my mother. As she got older, she grew senile, and she exaggerated the abuse she had to endure. All she did was criticize my father. Well, that's a different matter almost entirely of him, like, it's, I guess, a combination of the whole thing of, like, going a bit mad with age, honestly, and all that, and just then exaggerating all that because, like, that was the very bad last impression she had of him, so, I don't quite, I'm not gonna give her a hard time of that, honestly. Like, if someone experienced that point of trauma to the point of him getting bruised and I guess being verbally harassed for a long time, I don't really blame her for, like, having a sort of grudge. And every time she ended up crying, mentioning that she married him. They were a lovely couple. We were a great family. That's why I want to convey to her that she was misunderstanding the situation with my father. My father's behavior was caused by his brain damage. Drain damage. What he did to her was very sad, but he didn't want us to be that way. I told her that he wasn't at fault. But my mother didn't understand. Before she took her last breaths, I begged her to forgive my father. But her final words were, "Please, don't bury me next to that man." My father wasn't at fault. He's simply the victim of a brain disorder. You don't complain to a person who's coughing because he's a cold. Because coughing is a symptom and should be sympathized with. No, since they caught the disease, that means they're at fault then, from your relative's point of view then. It's literally just probably just the whole thing. They don't have a clear understanding of how, I guess, like, medical things work. If, like, you grew up in a different, like, a past, era. I don't know all Japanese different eras, honestly, so, they said, like, he, like, started, I guess, psychosurgery in the Shogun era? I can't remember at the top of my head what it is, but, what the word is, but yeah, maybe just because of that, just different understandings, honestly, of generations, honestly. And just since, like, now, anyway, you are taking, like, or focusing more on mental health, like, taking it more seriously, at least. Nowadays, I can't remember if, like, when I was, like, a kid in the early 2000s, honestly, if it was, like, actually considered that seriously, actually, either. Top of my head, I don't think it was. Maybe just because of things I've looked into the time. So, My father's case, the symptoms weren't as obvious as a cough. They took the form of changes in personality, which are much harder to recognize. I mean, if you sometimes got a massive change of personality, I'm still just wondering why they didn't all just imagine him, hey, that boink to the head from a construction worker being at the construction site, did a weird thing to him. I'm still just trying to mentally process, like, exactly what, like, they actually still thought that after, like, learning about that they don't believe that's to be the case, and they just said, no, he just changed out of nowhere. It was all his doing. He was completely normal for, like, 50 years, and all of a sudden, 1 year, he decided to go completely insane. It was just because he was being stressed by married life, or whatever fucking thing I can think on top of my head of why they think it's something changed, honestly, like that. Which doesn't even make sense in my own brain to rationalize all this. I don't quite understand. I don't quite understand this mindset right now. My father's case, the symptoms weren't as obvious as a cough. They took the form of changes in personality, which are much harder to recognize. If I studied the brain more, I could have explained it better to my mother so that she could have understood him. Then they could have been a nice couple again in heaven. Liam, well, psychology, I guess, back then, a well-known thing, I guess, to look into. I guess you mostly just focus more on, actual physical changes, not the brain and mindset and, like, psychology itself, so, When I realized that, I cried. And I also realized there are plenty of people like my father in this world who are suffering from a disorder, yet they're misunderstood and despised for it. Yeah, I basically found that early on and started looking into some bits and pieces, and I'm basically trying to be very careful who should take responsibility or not. And then I found out. I found out about a miraculous cure for disorders called a body. Yeah, that's the way to stop every single disorder in the world. Bipolar disorder, even depression, even a small bit of seasonal depression you get every single time it turns winter. Don't worry, we can fix it up by snagging and tugging away just a small part of the brain. That way you'll be completely and utterly fine. If you just feel a tiny bit of sadness, then snip that brain out of it right there. Go to your local doctor today and just snip out the part of the frontal lobe right now. It would be just as easy. Just call 1-800. God damn it. The low, easy price. My good God, stop. Ever since that day, I spent my days learning about the brain so I could help people who are suffering from mental illnesses. My father is gone, but if he was still alive, I could cure him myself. So he and my mother could reconcile. That's the main reason why I'm here. Okay, that was a very interesting fragment. There's actually kind of an interesting backstory for him, actually. I actually quite like that. So that I actually connect all those together? Yeah, unless, like, I didn't get a... Actually, I want to try to see if I can get an actual, like, purposeful, these things should not be able to connect thing. I want to see if there's a thing for that. Like, what was it? What's the most hardest tip that, we don't have anything yet? The first thing that comes to mind is, hey, Mion, you want strawberry milk? Well, I don't have strawberry milk candy, so can I click this and see what happens? Okay, yeah, okay, so, literally, it's just connecting them, vaguely on different things. Okay. What? I just wanted to purposely. Did that actually like make it so we can't look at that anymore again or something like that from the broken thing all over? Okay. So Kyuseki Erie's Renaissance required. This is required first in the sound of it, so yeah, okay. I'll just go through all the, I guess, ones that I'm yeah, okay, so a few of these are the ones that are required first. Okay, so we get rid of every single fragment that says this is required first, and then figure things out from there then. And now I'm just kind of upset that this stupid sign is up there forever unless we get another fragment right, then I'm assuming. So Tomotaki, let's go. Rain? Nice. Oh, you're at a bus stop. Okay. The forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear. I'm sorry, Takama-san. Oh, don't be, Jiro-san. I knew it'd pour, so don't worry about it. Takana-san giggled. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out of here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ended up ruining her precious day off. Look, isn't this a grand day off? We're gonna go on a sightseeing tour through Hinamizawa, see all the beautiful flowers, and look, rain, pouring, lightning, thunder. I mean, like, I guess rain at a bus stop actually would be kind of calming, honestly. It'd probably be a bit different if it became a flash flood rain, but still. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinawa, so I asked her to go for a stroll. It's just... I'm really sorry. She teased me for a while, but only a little. Only a smidge. She wasn't exactly enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. I like it when someone verbally tries to corner me. I think I've become captivated by her. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me. It's definitely not because she likes me personally. Yay, the social web is not fun. So I feel like I might have used my position to drag her out here. That makes me a little depressed. I probably should think the slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. Indirect expressions. Oh, like, okay. Just don't say indirect expressions. Just say analogy, metaphors, other words that go to my English major brain. Right there. Look. So I want to believe she's out here because she might be even a little bit attracted to me. Like a magnet. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I found myself starting to go red at that. You're a mysterious person, Jiro-san. I bet women don't leave you alone, huh? So why are you hanging out with a weirdo like me? A weirdo? No way. You're fascinating, Takano-san. Actually, I feel bad making you spend a day with someone like me. Well, of course. I decide to devote my life to my work, but life is too dry with only that. Oh, they decide to only show... Okay, so there's a fragment, like some of these fragments are showcasing smaller bits and pieces, I guess. So the reason why... Maybe the reason why we'll see her son, like, his motive change for, like, killing everyone in town and the whole Reaper thing is probably hidden some of these fragments and notes, or literally just maybe just later on when everyone confronts her actually for it, so... And I was actually wondering if we're actually gonna get a scene of, like, seeing how exactly the two of them actually got connected and, I guess, started dating. And still getting reminded of Oishi's whole thing of just saying, like, I don't think they're a good pair because she's too smart for him. God. Of course, I decided to devote my life to my work, but life is too dry with only that. I need to switch gears once in a while. Besides, communicating with the opposite sex is good for the brain. Okay. It's all good if I manage to help you clear your head. Just thinking about this, just how the way she phrased to me, just communicating with the opposite sex, like they have a different mindset. That means I must be able to figure out and manipulate them even more too right now. The very first thing that comes to mind, honestly. So, that's funny. Don't you feel refreshed just being with me? She gives me an impish smile that makes my heart skip a beat. I try to hide my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice even my ears going red. They just go bright, goddamn fire pink. Of course, when I'm with you, I do feel refreshed. Yeah. Besides, if you learn about avian photography, I'll gain a buddy to share my hobby with. So, next time I'll bring my old camera. It's really expensive to buy a new one, you know? Newfangled digital cameras. Thank you. I'd love to learn about the avian photography that you're so intrigued by. I'm looking forward to joining you on a stroll next time you go. So, I don't need to go buy a camera, do I? No. Try with my old camera first. If you enjoy it, then you can buy one for yourself. I'll send it to you when I get back to Tokyo. Oh, thank you. Then I'll have you critique my photos when you come next time. Sure, I can hardly wait to see them. They'd be nothing compared to yours. It'd be my very first time doing it, you know? While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? Very. I can't help but think that Takano likes being with me. It's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, no. Taking a woman's flattery seriously is a mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me. Oh, you're doing the whole thing of, someone's being nice to you, that means, they love me, all of that. Yeah, look, I already had that happen, like, when I was really young. Don't do that. Don't do that. By the way, isn't this the first time we've been alone like this? Oh, yeah, you're right. Usually the director or some of the research staff is around. I don't know about you. I don't know exactly what you do in Tokyo or what you've done in the past, if you murdered people in the past or not, but I wonder what you do in the self-defense force. I was an instructor for a while. I was injured and hurt my eye. I can live life normally, but they made a big deal of it, and ever since all I do is desk work. Your eye's been injured? No! Your artistic vision! No! It's been hampered now! Takano giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury. Just tripped and almost just fell just right on top of the eye. And when I helped PR with their magazine, I became fascinated by photography. Cameras have the power to make people happy. Not always, but, I see what you're trying to go for. I bet you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's true. I started to take pictures, my life has been a lot happier. Well, that just goes to your sense, honestly. Well, those people are camera shy, honestly. I hate that. I really don't like a lot of my photos. How can a camera make someone happy? Well, a camera takes a snapshot of a moment of life. Of course, you want to capture a moment that's filled with happiness, right? Oh, I just got reminded of recently watching 1 Hour Photo, that thriller movie, and getting reminded of a quote from that. People will usually only want to develop and take photos of happy moments and not anything sad or imperfect with their own lives. Ooh. So you look for happiness through the viewfinder. And as you search, you realize your everyday life is actually filled with happiness. I mean, for example, a dandelion sprouting from the crack of the asphalt is just a weed in a busy life. But when you look at it through the viewfinder, it's a gift to let you know that spring is approaching. You capture it and put it in an album, and every time you open the album up, you remember the happy feeling you had when you took the picture. Huh. So you always feel that way when you take your pictures. Sure. I don't have ambitions of taking artistic photos or capturing a dramatic, prize-winning moment. That's not important to me. Man, you don't want to become a war photographer like a certain other photographer's mother? I want those moments we don't notice. Helping us recognize those little moments of happiness is the greatest thing about cameras to me. So I'm really glad to be able to see Hinamizawa through my viewfinder. I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time, Nakano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Nakano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle with my camera, pressing every single button individually. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she's indeed interested in cameras, at least to a slight extent. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, So I'm happy to see that this is her reaction. Do you want to try? Do you think I can? Well, it's easy. Well, first, you just need to learn how to focus and press the shutter. Well, like, why don't you hold it? Oh, don't ever touch the lenses, though. It smudges it, yes. Oh, this isn't easy. Since you seem to show interesting cameras, I want to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. You can take photos of where you are, because creativity comes with limitations sometimes. Like, creativity thrives under limitations sometimes, I mean to say. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. Look, see, she's having the right idea, okay? Rain is cool. So the first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that dark little building. Since then, every time we meet, we end up walking the village with our cameras in our hands. Huh. That's kind of sweet, actually. Literally, just these fragments are in a sense actually just the tips. So I was probably going a tiny bit mad, honestly, that I don't have my tips anymore. No, but this is technically just all of that. Okay, is that other thing just cracked? It just stays cracked like that until I guess we click back and we've seen one that involves strawberry milk candy. No, what kind? No, I need to know this now. What the first thing that comes up when I look up strawberry milk candy? Because that just seems too oddly specific for me. Strawberry milk candy. Oh, like one of those cream things. Okay. Well, first thing comes up are peppermints, honestly. So, huh? Oh, here's like, well, that's a Korean. I think it's called Lotta Sot Malang Cow Friend. I think that's what the last word says. Okay. It's a Kuma Strawberry Ichigo Milk Candy. Ah, Japan import. Yeah, probably talking about those, honestly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I just haven't seen a lot of that, honestly. That's just way too specific, honestly. So, okay. So let's see. These two are required first. What else this says required first? Okay, what was it? What was the wording for it again? Required first. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that's required first. Okay, so these three character ones. Yeah, okay. I'll focus on getting those first. Okay, a local explanatory meeting. Satoshi's more interesting. Who wants to hear about a business meeting right now? When I asked Rika-chan, she said Sadako might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. It's been so long since I've done a voice for Satoshi, so I don't even remember what kind of voice I gave to him. It was probably something a bit more clumsy, a bit more innocent sounding like, honestly. So, Plus, what was it? Like that one tip pretty much just laid it out that he technically was the one that killed his aunt, but my gosh, I'm still denial, okay? Unless the tip showcases it completely, I will still be in goddamn denial. When I asked Rika-chan, she said Sadako might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. The mountain is covered with trees, vines, and fallen logs. She really likes the area. The very second you mentioned vines and fallen logs, I'm seeing a lot of dangerous combinations. Just going on a pressure plate, then all of a sudden, like fucking 10 wooden log pendulums start striking at you, and if you don't dodge them right quickly, you're as good as dead immediately. Have fun. Any child would dream of having a secret base. Yes. And to Sadako, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As a brother, I'm a little concerned about that she spends so much time on it. It's actually the first time we actually got a first-person sort of narration in his own head, actually. Because I think when we seen Miyakashi's take and when you're going through Shion's, it was only always third person. So, huh. I'm still just a bit confused, like when I said back then of the whole thing about the desk. I guess then just if he decided to kill his aunt back then, using the desk, to get out of the house a bit, and then kill her on the way back, then does that mean he literally just moved the desk inside? Or he just moved it back to the dump, honestly, since from the sound of it, he did carry it by himself. Based on how large it was, doesn't that mean he had to lug it back just so he wouldn't be suspicious for it? And then that, or just he decided to lead the trail toward the dumpster. and then like get killed nearby the house on the trail, and then try to bury or something like that. But then again, why then just leave through the window of your house barefoot? I don't quite understand. I mean, I don't think like Tepe actually came back because he's practically never around the house back then. So why did he leave barefoot then? Did it didn't seem like he there wasn't any shouting from the sound of it, but like I think they would mention there would be maybe some shouting or something like that, but like the first thought was like he probably got an argument with Sadako maybe in some capacity, but that would make sense either why he would leave like through the window so quickly, and I'm pretty sure it would slip. Uh, do you just want to? Why do you want to? Okay, maybe you just want to leave the house just to get to somewhere some Sadako and see, but then why still go back outside then again after killing the ant? Won't it be kind of, even though you'd be, I guess, the first prime suspect, wouldn't it be, I guess, better to stay at the house and behind? I mean, I guess I'd consider that he's a bit, maybe not as smart, I guess? But I don't know if that's exactly the thing, though. I don't quite understand that. Huh. As her brother, I'm a little concerned about that she spends so much time on it. But maybe I should worry more about myself getting lost since I really come here. Just get a piece of chalk and just, paint every single tree you pass by, like trail markers. Those parks. Like national parks. The mountain gets dark quickly when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else. Just get a megaphone and scream into the void. Sadako! Sadako! I'm yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods, my voice doesn't carry that well. Fucking leaves in the pine needles damper the voice. According to Rika-chan, she has been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. You get tripped up and you immediately get stuck on the vines around your ankles and legs, and you're hanging upside down. And if she doesn't come around quickly enough, you might die from all the blood rushing to your head. What does she mean by expand it? Just making a giant base underground. Like she immediately just got in for she intuited there's a secret like underground ritual storehouse and Mion's house. Decided to make it all entirely around this area with little stilts and mining like supports underneath the ground. If it's a secret base, she must not want anyone to find it. Does that mean she set up some traps? Why would that not be your first thought after all this? Considering that I should have noticed the traps in the mountain before one got me. Okay, yeah, I think it is just not that bright. They're bright. Ah! Suddenly my foot sunk in the ground and snagged on something like a jump rope tied behind dried leaves. I heard some noise from above, and then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. Oh, wow, look at that, you almost died. It had to be one of the playful traps Sadako loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head. The ball? I thought it said branches. Oh, big ball made of oh, okay. Okay. Oh my! Look who's here! It's you, Nini! Sadako? No, this kind of horseplay is dangerous. There's no horses around here, Satoshi. I know you're not, that smart from the sound of it, but get it together. There's not even ponies around here. Come on, get out of here with that kind of terminology here. Did you not see the sign put up by the forestry service? It clearly states it's dangerous to come to these woods. Yeah, it's because of you. My wonderful trap to welcome anyone who ignores that warning. Oh, you're taking the whole law and legal thing to extreme. Oh, basically just assault anyone who commits the horrendous, dangerous crime of littering. As her brother, you should stop her from doing things like this. But when I see your brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen the smile in some time. Oh, by the way, Sadako, weren't you told to come home by evening since we're going out for dinner tonight? I'm seeing this so that parents actually around here. Yep, okay, from the sound of it. Yep, it's some stepfather. I don't want to go. Why don't her mother and father go by themselves? If you want to, you can go with them, Nini. Are you still angry at father? He threw an ashtray at me. I'm assuming this is blood. I'm assuming this is blood-related father then, or let's hope it's that, not the stepdad thing. Because if it was, then that makes them the call for help thing a false flag even worse. No, that happened with our previous father. Our current one hasn't done that. Okay, good. Good thing you mentioned that right immediately. He locked me on the veranda. Veranda? I heard the veranda. I heard veranda. Veranda. Notes. Veranda. Look at that. He didn't feed me lunch. He complained I got him the wrong brand of cigarettes, and he slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater. And then she's talking about her current stepfather. Things about all our different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head. I mean, if if you're a mom, technically that's either dates and or marries really quickly. I don't technically blame Sadako, honestly. So maybe your mom needs to date longer before immediately marrying someone else. That or she's cheating a lot. Every time our mother remarried, we had to call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that with them, step parent, stories, honestly. I even did the same thing in my story about, someone, trying to figure out how to feed by their own, or, blood-related dad, before he just came to accept his, new stepdad, honestly. Yeah. However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, I used the word father, even if I didn't want to. But it was too difficult for Sadako, and if she was, to do the same. Ever since Sadako was very little, she's been having trouble with all her stepfathers. She's never opened up to her current one. Never. To Sadako, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that her current stepfather doesn't have any experience with being a parent. He sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident where Sadako called the child abuse hotline, our stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Sadako has suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the social worker. She's doing her part in trying to bring Sadako back into the family. But Sadako completely refuses to even try. I mean, I feel like this is if this is the third, new stepdad, honestly, it's a tiny bit there, but if it's even more than that, then yeah, that'd be a lot even taken and hold, honestly. Just hey, oh, hi, Dad, are you gonna be dumped the next day? And then just imagine just getting a new stepdad almost every other few months or something like that from the sound of it, apparently. I'm pretty sure you need to call each and every one of them your real dad, or just dad in name anyway. That, yeah, the emotion just goes out the window right quick, honestly. All them, the familial love goes out the window, honestly. It's understandable, though. Her childhood has been filled with misery. Sadako can only open up to me. That's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust, though I should be alone in this world. But a brother and sister alone can be considered a family. Why not? If we don't get along now, if we continue to communicate, even in a small way, we may be able to become a real family someday. Oh, just if you're not entirely that close, actually? Wait, what? Okay, those two weird lines, honestly. You made a weird statement, honestly. Why can't that just be a family? I understand what you're trying to say, but you weirded it weirdly. Sadako, our current stepfather is getting nicer. He says he wants to make up with you. That's news to me. That's because every time he tries to say something, you run away. He wants to talk to you. He says he won't make you eat pumpkin anymore, and not squash. That's a lie. He said I couldn't leave until I ate my pumpkin, and he tied me to the chair. Oh, one of those kinds of... Okay. I remember when my dad forced me to eat mashed potatoes back then, and I couldn't leave the table for a while. I was really young. I think I cried back then. I remember that much. Again, she isn't talking about our current stepfather. Sadako, just come home with me, okay? Mother got a free dinner coupon, and we don't want to go to waste, do we? Free dinner coupon at a restaurant? We already have the reservations, so we have to go today. Why don't you go, Nini? I prefer staying home alone. Sadako usually doesn't stay out playing this late. She knows we're going out, and that's why she's out here alone. Although I want to snap at Sadako, I control myself. Well, don't verbally snap at her, just snap your fingers right in front of her face. Wake up! Because she only has me. I can't scare her. She only has me. I'm assuming even the mom is not in good, her mom is not in good terms with her, I guess. I guess besides the absolute obvious, it's just remarrying several times over. Please, let's go home, Sadako. You don't have to decide to go or not right now. You can think about it after we get there. Besides, without your help, I can't find my way down the mountain. Nini, I brought you here so many times already, and you still haven't learned. What am I gonna do with you, Nini? I can't tell if you're lying or not, honestly. I can't tell which is better, honestly. Sadako holds out her hand. She often says she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. I took that hand. Sadako's fragile hand. I had to protect her. As her big brother. Let's go home, Sadako. Sure. Okay, that's sweet. Doll. It's actually kind of nice to learn, actually. About their background before, I guess, their blood mother and one of the stepfathers dies in that accident next year. Huh. I think we only have 2 more the fragments required first thing. Okay. Okay, this is talking about the dam construction then, okay. So the dam construction will bring in new jobs and revitalize the local industry. So I'm assuming the government was having a bit of a tizzy, honestly, because we're researching a secret disease there, right? And now you coming along and try to put a goddamn fucking dam product to damper it. We're trying to set up a national thing of security. The SDF is involved, and you just pull this shit. Fuck y'all. I can just imagine that behind the scenes stuff. Because they don't have any they don't have any connections in the Ministry of Construction, I guess, section of the government. They can't really do anything besides literal just verbal protests like everyone else is doing until murder's on the plate. That happens later on. So the dam construction will bring in new jobs and revitalize the local industry. That's not what we're saying. Oh, this is just a mirror of when Keiichi really stormed into the child consultation center. Everyone, this is really just that something, but with dam construction things and the entire town going under, with the future possibility of the plate. That's okay. Who the hell gave you permission to build a dam here? I mean, who gives a damn? You squeeze tax money from us, and this is what we get in return? Who do you think pays your salaries, huh? We pay your salaries. You listen to us right here, mister. Look, we're trying to explain to you. We don't want to hear excuses. We want to know when you'll stop the construction. You're useless. Bring the Minister of Construction here. You'll get to the bottom of it. Shut up, you yuppie. Hey, you're paid with our tax money, so what the hell are you talking down to us from up there? What kind of fucking weird hierarchy leveling system do they have? They have a fucking high chair over there. My good God. Come down here and let's speak face to face. What kind of business room has a little hierarchy of seats that go escalating all the way up to the ceiling? Oh, it's an auditorium. On the stage, I'm assuming then. Oh my God. That explains a lot. The auditorium is filled with angry shouting. The sign on the entrance says, Hinamizawa Dam Construction Explanatory Meeting. So this is actually either, I guess, an early meeting talking about the new dam construction, I guess, prospects, I guess. And the villagers having a fun time to speaking their mind. Every time the official at the stage tried to say something, the citizens packed into the room silenced him with their shouts. Shut the fuck up, you! Try to ignore them, the official continued to explain the pros of the dam. The pros. But it just further infuriated them. Between the stage and the citizens, there was an open area where a police squad was sitting nearby. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump on the stage and start a riot, waving flags everywhere. Oh, hi. Well, you were. I saw your sprite, but I was just wondering how you actually fit into this. I'm watching all this in the back of the auditorium. How many times have you seen all this happen every single time? It's obvious to anyone they're being swelled by their anger. They've been filled with a bloody red rage. The anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself and creates a vicious cycle, where anger leads to more anger. Yeah. I don't think I did not notice the red tint that suddenly just appeared over everything. It's going fucking brighter. We're seeing absolute red. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans to help, like, showcase injustice. People face many difficulties in their lives. Anger gives them the motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Therefore, anger is an essential part of life itself. So, I'll never reject anger itself. It'd be probably inhumane if you said it's not. If you just reject all emotion itself. However, anger like this, that goes far beyond normal. Makes people forget their purpose. That is no longer an essential part of life. As the blood rushes to their head, a person can't even remember what they're done. They go out of control. Well, it's probably a different story with them, with the whole thing with the disease and the dam being yeah, honestly, this is probably just before the whole disease, I guess, was being showcased and everyone was affected by this, I guess. So yeah. Don't know if you actually even realized this even before, or just you really don't know about that much about people and humans, honestly. So I can clearly see the villagers who live alongside us turning to demons, but I thought some of us are already demons, though. I understand the rules of the human world, but do you understand the nuances of it, though, Hanyo? The power of an individual can't be compared to the power of a government. For you to fight, an individual needs to become part of a larger, unified power. Join a union. But to steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger. Well, I mean, if they can't really change it, then of course it leads to more anger. But it leads to even more because they feel even more injustice. So I can't exactly say that's exactly wrong to feel angry about it. So not anger that helps you live, but anger that exists only for anger. I probably just don't get your point right here, Hanyo. But so far right now, just because you don't understand the whole disease right now, depending on what kind of fragment this is in the past, I don't quite think yeah, this is like a bunch of people like losing their homes, honestly. And if they can't get anything else out there, even consider it a slight bit, then I don't quite understand the point you're making right now, because I don't see, I guess, a big issue why they're angry. I don't see a big issue of why they're angry. It makes sense why they are. Just like being a demon. This emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long, peaceful slumber. Even from the sound of, like, you're trying to say, like, equating all this anger to demonship anyway. No one technically has done anything wrong, except from the sound of it, unless the Mountain Dogs had absolutely nothing to do with the dam construction murder. This kickstarted the whole, I guess, quote-unquote, Oyashiro-sama's curse. Then, literally the villagers had done nothing besides do peaceful protests, and, when that didn't work, they decided to, go to the length of, you know, destroying equipment, which, I don't quite fault them for, again, because, if you're talking to someone who's stubborn and won't listen to you, what, again, can you do and say to change their minds? Because if they're that stubborn, they're not going to change their mind. And the only thing you can do at this point is to either, like, you know, make them listen to you somehow like that, or try to go and convince someone higher than them to actually listen. Or, you know, just to get them fired, or just say, no, we don't want you here, go away, and just harass them, honestly. Especially, you already gave your side, and, still nothing has changed, either, yeah. I don't quite understand your point here. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We live peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly. And yet, we've awakened. That the world is trying to return to that age when demons were said to rise in Onikifuchi Swamp. I keep shouting at everyone to get them to calm down. My voice can't reach them because of the vicious cycle of anger. Yeah, I don't quite understand that either, too, honestly. Not like, no, I don't quite understand the two. Don't mean like that. I still don't understand your point here. Even so, I'll continue shouting, hoping even one of them will hear my voice. Because I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. But weren't the demons living with the humans? Are you saying that's not true? My good gosh, make up your mind. Which legends are true, which are not, symbolically or not, which are true or not. God, pick your sides already. The demons that went to deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. The demons went to deep sleep in the swamp. There's demons living inside the town already, and they're being nice and living on people for generations, apparently. And still, that's not enough. You're saying those demons are like now that's over there in the swamp in the forest over there? Is that what you're saying? My gosh, get your symbols in an order, Hanyo. You're the one who should know the most about these legends and all that. Get your symbols in order. Then all of a sudden, the atmosphere changed. Looking up, I saw the angry exchange between the villagers and those in the podium devolved into a confrontation between the villagers themselves. What's going on? Oh, is this turning into the whole thing of oh, the Hojo family like it first appeared, or like Yep. Shut up. Those are your reasons, not ours. Don't pull us into this, you old hag. Who the hell cares? The hell you say, you bastard? Hey. Do you know who you're talking to? This is Oreo-san. You've got some nerve, huh? Well, I guess I understand over the whole anger thing about this now. The whole demon ship thing about, you twisted your weird symbols of demon and anger ship hood, honestly, Hanya, to the point I almost couldn't quite understand it, so. Who the hell do you think you are? Shut up. Sonozaki, so what? I'm Hojo. Get your goons away from me. Hey, Hojo! How dare you say that you want the village to be submerged? How much are they paying you? Oh, shut up, you old geezer. Listen, there are plenty of poor people in Hinamizawa. Not everyone is rich and has fields all over the mountains like you do. Oh, so that's the whole thing. It turned into a class problem then too, honestly. Okay, that makes a lot of sense why their stance, honestly. Oh, wow, so... Oh my good gosh, actually, so... That makes a lot of sense because everyone, I guess, who has a grudge against them is always the people who are always the counselor who was the highest in there. No wonder, actually. That makes so much more sense now. Oh my good gosh. I'm satisfied with the compensation from the government. They even offered to provide us with public housing. Okay, so there's that too. You're ruining everything, you assholes. Don't pretend you're the same as us. If you want to fight with the government, why don't you fight by yourself? Then who's gonna pay? You? I am poor and I have 2 kids at home. I was trying to start a new life by leaving here in peace after getting compensation from the government and finding a job elsewhere. But since when did you represent me, huh? You think you're that important or what? Hey, Hojo! How dare you betray us? Yeah, the whole stuff about infighting and caused all those even vicious more anger, honestly. Fighting against an actual opponent, and I'm also infighting. Yay! Hey, Hojo! How dare you betray us? No, then get out. Get out of this village right now, then. Sure, I'll be happy to. But you're gonna pay what I'm entitled to, right? You're gonna pay me every yen of the compensation I was gonna get from the government. If I want to leave the village, I don't have the money. If you're gonna pay me, I'll leave straight away. No, Hojo's right. There are plenty of residents who are willing to leave. You 3 families shouldn't drag us into this. Oh, so well, it makes sense that the 3 families are the ones technically that got into this whole entire debacle anyway. And there's probably and every single person he went Hojo actually went and argued against, he called old geese and stuff like that. So the hell is this? Who just spoke? Come on, who was it? If you want to stay, then stay. You have the right to leave, so don't interfere. No, that's right. Back the hell off, you damn Sonozaki hag. Of course, we'll compensate the people who support the damn construction plan. We most certainly will not steal the land from you. Shut up, government dog. Are you trying to divide the village? Die, Hojo. You don't deserve to breathe the village air. Hold your breath and suffocate to death. Screw you, you old hag. I'll murder your ass. Step up front, you damn hag. Fighting stance, let's go. Hey, stay out of this, you fat pig. Get out of the way. Very good. That was very good, Hojo. Haven't been this pissed off in so long. You get what you deserve. Look forward to it. Get him, Hojo! It's turning into a goddamn public fight. Wrestling ring, let's go. Sound the bell now. The government is to provide us new jobs, shelter, and compensation. Hey, stop this violence now. All you, stop it. Stop it! Police! Like hell. Bring it on. I'll send you back to the swamp where you belong, you fucking real demon. Come and get some. Everyone's being tainted with bloody red anger. I can only watch. The least I can do is to apologize for the tragedy that is about to happen. I'm sorry. This is how things started. From this day onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other. The Hojo family will become ostracized within the village for all time. Well, it's like when things go back to, I guess, the normal chapter system. Then I guess will the family actually then still remember that what happened last time of don't fucking hate Sadako whole binge, honestly. This marks the beginning of Sadako and Satoshi's lives of tremendous hardship. That probably goes to a lot of different things of the damn construction product itself then. If I just learn individual people, then it goes and expands even more to like these other larger fragments of the murders, or like, you know, larger systems, honestly, with the ones that have multiple requirements here. Yeah, like the part-time job, stuff like that. It just, like, I think I have a clear understanding of all this right now. I'm just gonna leave this off right here, actually. We still have one more, like, required first thing, I believe, talking more about, I guess, like, in the mind of Sadako Hojo. And slowly, I'm assuming we're gonna build up and up until I guess we get to the further along with to these, actually. With all these, like, the game board must be set up, so one of these must be talking about a game board at some point before we go with all these. There's a few of them, like the early ones, that talk about it, so can we get these up, then we can go to this one, then one has like Sumi Horoboshi, like literally I feel like these are the end game, I guess, small fragments before we get finally to this one. All of this. Oh, wait, 7 fragments are required. Like, I'm assuming, like, not the past fragments itself of, like, just 7 individual fragments like these, but just, you know, all the ones of specific installment fragments. I guess it's actually kind of a cool different way to change things up, actually. Huh. It gives a tiny bit more interactivity, and I guess, well, maybe there's like a clear set linear path of figuring everything out, but it gets your brain, I guess, to work, honestly, instead of just probably just like some people are going through this series, just waiting for just the plot beats to come by instead of like actually thinking about it, which I won't judge, honestly, but I like getting my own brain to like work, honestly, because like if I just let past things by, honestly, then my brain feels like it's gonna rot like a goddamn fucking apple and just in the middle of a goddamn orchard in the very bottom of the ground, passing months and months, the goddamn sun and moon pass. Oh boy. We just have one more required tip with just Sadako, and then just trying to figure things up from there. It'd be an interesting time with all this new framework. Kind of looking forward to how it goes. But I guess we'll see what new fragments and tips will uncover, all for next time. So, hope you fun time watching as I am playing this. Hope to see you next time, what time that may be. And I hope you fantastic day.